The man who tried to pick me up at the airport knew my driver's name. He said it before I even looked up from my phone. Ride for Jordan? That was the exact name on my rideshare app. Same name, same pickup lane. But the car he was leaning out of wasn't the car on my screen. At the time, I didn't realize what was happening. I just thought the airport was chaotic. I had landed around 10:40 p.m. Late flight, carry-on only. The airport rideshare pickup area was the usual mess. Headlights stacked along the curb, luggage wheels grinding across pavement, drivers leaning out of windows calling out names into the noise. My app showed my driver was 3 minutes away. His name was Jordan. There was a photo, license plate, car model. Everything matched. I kept glancing between the screen and the line of cars easing through the pickup lane, brake lights flashing red as drivers slowed, rolled forward, and pulled away again. People stepped into cars every few seconds. Quick greetings, trunks popping open, doors closing, vehicles sliding back into traffic like nothing happened. My phone buzzed and the map updated. 2 minutes away. The little car icon on the screen kept moving closer to the pickup zone. Everything about it still looked normal. Then someone pulled up to the curb in a dark sedan. The window rolled down and the driver leaned over the passenger seat. Ride for Jordan. I looked down at my phone, then back at the car. The plate didn't match, so I shook my head and stepped back. Wrong car. The driver paused for a second like he was waiting for me to change my mind. Then he nodded. All right, and pulled away from the curb. I watched the sedan roll into the slow line of cars moving through the pickup lane, its brake lights blinking as it merged back into the traffic loop. I remember thinking he'd probably just guessed a name and moved on to the next person standing there with a suitcase and a phone in their hand. At a busy airport pickup zone, that kind of thing probably happens all the time. People get in the wrong car, drivers call out names, someone eventually figures it out. For a moment it felt like a normal mix-up, just another car, another driver trying to find the right passenger in the crowd. It should have ended there, but it didn't. My actual rideshare arrived about 2 minutes later. Same name, same car. Everything matched the app. I checked the plate twice before opening the door, then slid into the back seat and shut it behind me. The driver glanced in the mirror and confirmed the destination already in the app, then pulled away from the curb and into the slow line of cars leaving the pickup zone. I got in. The ride home was quiet. Normal. The kind of quiet ride where the driver keeps both hands on the wheel and the radio low while the airport lights fade in the rearview mirror. But even sitting there, watching the traffic move past the window, I kept thinking about that first sedan, the one that had pulled up before the real driver ever arrived. But halfway through the drive, I started thinking about the first car. How did that guy know the driver's name? Because I never said it out loud. I had been standing there with my phone in my hand, reading the screen to myself, waiting for the car icon to move closer to the pickup lane. I never called the name out, never spoke to anyone near me. The only place that name existed was on the rideshare app in my hand. I replayed the moment in my head. The way the sedan pulled up, the driver leaning across the seat saying the name like he already knew it belonged to someone standing there. That wasn't a guess. There were dozens of people waiting at that curb, different rides, different names, and somehow he said the exact one that was on my screen. That's when the ride stopped feeling routine and started feeling like something I didn't fully understand yet. When you order a rideshare, the driver's name appears in the app. So does the photo and the car, but in a crowded pickup lane, the phone screen is usually facing up. People glance down constantly, checking the plate, checking the map. and the driver's name is right there, big text, easy to read from a few feet away. So, 2 days later, I had another flight. Just a short business trip, different airport this time. But same routine, same late arrival, same rideshare pickup lane chaos. I ordered a car, got a driver assigned 2 minutes away, and before the car even arrived, someone walked directly toward me and said, "Ride for Jordan." Different person, different city, same line. I looked down at my phone again, and the driver's name was Jordan. Again. That's when the pattern started to feel wrong. This time I didn't answer, I just shook my head. The man stood there for a second, just watching. Then he turned and approached someone else waiting near the curb. Same question. "Ride for Jordan?" The woman looked confused, checked her phone, and walked toward his car. I watched her get in, and the car pulled away. About a minute later, my actual driver pulled up. That's when I started realizing what was happening. At airports, rideshare pickup zones work the same everywhere. Drivers circle the loop, passengers stand near numbered signs, phones out, checking details. And every phone screen shows the same thing: driver name, car photo, license plate. If someone stands nearby long enough, they can read everything. I started paying attention the next time I traveled. And honestly, what I saw made the pattern obvious. Drivers weren't the only people watching the pickup lane. There were always a few cars parked slightly outside the flow, not rideshare vehicles, just sitting there, engines running, watching passengers. The first time I noticed it clearly, I counted 3 cars sitting in the short-term pickup lane. None of them had rideshare stickers. None of them had passengers getting out. They were just parked, windows down, slowly moving forward every few minutes, watching people holding their phones, watching screens light up, watching who looked down and who didn't. Those cars weren't picking people up. They were watching phones. All they had to do was see a name, then pull forward and call it out. Most people didn't question it because, the airport is loud, people are tired, and everyone expects drivers to approach first. I started noticing something else too. When the fake drivers called a name and nobody answered, they didn't argue. They didn't stay. They just rolled forward, picked another group of travelers, tried again. Sometimes the name matched, sometimes it didn't, but eventually someone responded. About a month later, I had another flight home. Same airport as the first time, same pickup area. When I ordered the ride, I did something different. I turned my phone screen toward my chest and just waited. A car rolled up to the curb, window down, driver leaned over. "Ride for Marcus?" That wasn't the name on my phone. My driver's name was Ethan. The man stared at me, trying to read my screen. When he couldn't see it, he drove away. 30 seconds later, another car came through, slow, watching. Then the driver spoke. "Ride for Ethan?" That was the name on my app. But my actual driver was still 2 minutes away. I shook my head again and stepped back from the curb. The car idled there longer than the others, like the driver was deciding something. Then he rolled forward and approached the next group of travelers. That night I counted 4 different cars doing the same thing, driving the pickup lane, calling out names, guessing. Sometimes they were right, sometimes they weren't, but eventually they found someone who responded. And once a passenger answered, they got in the car because the name matched. That was enough. A few rides later, I asked one of my drivers about it, just, casually. He nodded like he'd heard the question before. He told me drivers talk about it all the time, especially at busy airports. He said some passengers never even check the plate. They just hear their driver's name and open the door, and once that door closes, the car pulls away before anyone else notices. He said by the time the real driver reaches the pickup spot, the rider is already gone. The app just shows a passenger who never showed up. Meanwhile, the wrong car is already leaving the airport. After that conversation, I changed how I used rideshare. Every time. I stopped standing near the curb with my phone out where anyone walking past could glance at the screen. I memorized the driver's name, checked the plate, then kept the phone facing down in my hand instead of holding it up like a sign. And I stopped answering when drivers called my name first. Now I ask the question, who are you picking up? If they hesitate or look back at their phone before answering, I step away from the curb. If they don't say my name without checking, I don't move. I watch the plate. I watch the car. And I wait until the details match before I even reach for the door handle. Because that first car proves something I hadn't thought about before. The moment you show your screen in a crowded pickup zone, you might be telling the wrong person exactly who you are. The last time someone tried it on me was about 3 months ago. Hotel pickup loop, late night, a car pulled up, window down, driver smiling, ride for Ethan. That was the name on my screen. But my driver was still 4 minutes away. I stepped back from the curb, shook my head. The car stayed there for a few seconds longer than normal, watching. Then it rolled forward and stopped beside another traveler standing with their phone out. The driver leaned over, called out another name, and this time the person answered. The car door opened, the traveler got in, and the vehicle pulled away. About a minute later, my actual rideshare arrived. Right car, right plate, right driver. But as we pulled out of the pickup loop, I saw the other car again, already circling back through the airport lane, slow, watching, looking for the next name. You made it to the end, but this wasn't entertainment. This was a warning. The city doesn't announce danger. It lets it happen. If you don't want to miss the next pattern, the next mistake, the next situation people ignore until it's too late, subscribe and turn on notifications. There's another story waiting, and it could sound a lot like yours. This is Urban Warning, stories that feel like warnings. Run the next video.